So here I've put together a slide that shows you where we're at really, although last year's data isn't fully on here. 60% of children remain with higher than ideal HbA1cs and 20% are missing important screening events that might flag up a future disability that could be reduced with better control. Just looking at the table, sometimes in audits, quite rightly, we can only put in the data we've got. And so what we do is we kind of almost encourage ourselves just to carry on doing the same thing, thinking that the slope will carry on going in the same direction and we just carry on doing what we're doing. But what I want to point out to you is that why would that be? Other things could happen that might make the slope level off, and other things might happen in our system that might make the slope level off because we haven't been able to do what we were doing before. Now, when I put this slide together, we hadn't even thought of having a pandemic. But many of us have now experienced that things can be very, very different very, very quickly for the system. And of course, they can too for individual children who may have had some family circumstance that means their diabetes goes completely out of control as a result. But my point is that the college has worked really hard on the audit. You guys have worked really hard on the structures and ways you do your work. And that by bringing in quality improvement and now peer review, you can see on here that we're starting to shift the performance of the system, because we haven't just carried on in the same slope. Actually, we've had 2 years at a really good place. So you might ask, well, where are we going? Well, here is a sort of an imaginary graph, which has exactly the same data that you've just seen, but I've carried on with the slope line as predicted, which means that we're not going to get anywhere near where we want to, i.e. somewhere in the low 50s or upper 40s as our median level for HbA1c for a long time if we carry on doing what we're doing. So we've got to do something different. If we carry on doing what we've always done, we'll always get what we've always got. One of Einstein's non-mathematical theories, but kind of right, isn't it, really? So what we want you to do, if you haven't done it already, or maybe you've started, but or maybe you do it regularly, but we just wanted you to look at your MPDA data report, the latest one, which of course is already a year out of date. And look at some questions that we've put in the pack we've already sent you to ask yourself some pretty challenging questions, really, about what's going on in your system. This isn't about giving excuses, or it isn't about making blame, or isn't it about blaming resources? Can't even blame COVID right now because this data precedes any of the data that will have been influenced by the pandemic. But we just want you to think about it and think about where the areas that you think you would like to make a difference to are, or maybe there are areas there where you know you have to make a difference to, and start thinking about how that might happen. Not why it hasn't, but how it might. So put that positive frame on things. So here are some prompts that may help you. There are plenty of people who have had staff changes, and of course that means it's difficult to do that aspect of work, but where is the replacement coming from? Is it necessary? Are there other ways in which we can do and help the children in a similar way while we're waiting for a new member to start? And so on and so on. Are you doing the professional job that you really as a team would like to achieve? And if not, just pick one small place where you would like to start to test some ideas out. We'll explain how that will happen in a moment. So when you've done that, you can go back to the consideration that we asked you when we met online just a few days ago, is what about your team? You know, what makes you all tick? Why do you come to work? What is the most important thing about your daily work? Are there people you could work with and work alongside differently that might really help you make some of these ideas you've got and these ambitions you've got a reality? Not next week, but maybe in 6 months in 2021. So think about those things and work this through in your team.